much for checking out this new Ask the Expert video on rnrmagonline.com or Facebook or whatever platform you're watching this on. I am joined today with the COO of Burke's Fire Water Restorations and the COO of the Restoration Technical Institute. She also has a software company. So Lisa Lavender has a lot going on. She is a regular writer for R&R. You see her in the Restoring Success columns every single month. Lisa is brilliant when it comes to running a business and company culture and everything. She really knows her stuff. And so I wanted to spend a few minutes talking to her today about the coronavirus outbreak and how fellow contractors can be preparing by hopefully her giving some examples of what her company is doing to make sure that they are ready to handle this influx of claims, keep their employees safe and stuff like that. So hello, Lisa. Thank you so much for joining me. All right, so let's start with what measures you have in place right now to help your company and your employees be prepared and safe for this.
Sure. Well, preparation is really, it started, we've been constantly investing in the training and education to prepare for such an event. Most recently in August, we attended and did a infectious disease controlled decontamination class. So our team understood if something, at that point, this was only speculation, but they were already getting prepared. So several weeks ago, we started training and retraining, and that is, I think, an ongoing need that we figure out how to do that. We've been doing morning huddles. We've been attending every webinar that's been available, reading information. And then what we did is we kind of took and married all of our high-level abstract information knowledge and married it to the specific resources, tool, and deployment practices. And we actually made ourselves, we call it a quick reference guide. So it's kind of like saying, okay, when you say step 1, risk assessment, well, okay, or, step 2, we're doing a knockdown. Well, what tools do you specifically have to do that step? What products do you have? So that it kind of helps these high-level things in training, which is really great that we have opportunities to be doing that right now, and marry it to your actual operation and tools and resources that you have.
Perfect. Okay, so talking about the restoration and remediation disinfecting side of things, what are some protocols that you have in place now when it comes to maybe equipment coming back from a job site or making sure that we're not cross-contaminating? This is even beyond.
Yeah, we have to be really careful. And one of the things, and we talk about this all the time in training, at our last AMRT class, the corona started to unveil itself. So we started talking about even in that class. And, a lot of us as restorers, we have protocols in place for pulling dehumidifiers, air movers, our everyday stuff. And so we do as well. So we have normal cleaning, disinfecting protocols in place. But what I found, and I think we have to be sensitive about, is a lot of our peripherals. So whatever term you want to call, so your extension cords, your hammer, your cones. I did a demonstration this morning. I picked up 2 dirty cones. And I said, whether it's in a we're doing a disinfecting project or a water loss, we want to be sensitive and set a good example to what's going around us, and it should not even appear dirty. So what we did, we have our ultrasonics running. I asked everybody to run them through all their little things as much as they want in there. When things come out of the warehouse onto the truck, disinfect. Before it goes into the property, disinfect it. When it comes back out, disinfect it. So much more disinfecting throughout the process. It's, we have all these supplies readily available, hopefully, if we've been managing our supply chains, and making keeping everybody's bottles full, and, we even made a filling station for their bottles. So lots of additional, and again, a lot of this is getting reviewed every day because new twists or turns come up, people have questions, we want them to stay confident. So for example, one thing I said, as soon as you arrive, whether the homeowner or property owner is there or not, we're going to wash our hands when we arrive on site and or sanitize if you don't have something available. When you leave, you wash your hands or sanitize. So little things like that make a big difference because that's what we all need to be doing.
Sure. Okay. So you were talking about supply chain a little bit. I know when you
Yeah,
spoke earlier, you guys are being really proactive and looking further ahead. So do you have any
yeah.
tips on being proactive about your supply chain looking forward?
Absolutely. So, and honestly, it's a good business continuity response and consideration for not just restorers, but for everybody that you may work with. Every business needs to consider this. And so, as early as 2 weeks ago, or whatever that date was when this started to become known, we started evaluating and looking, contacting our suppliers, staying in constant communication with them as they were seeing supplies getting depleted so we could best anticipate order, not only for responses, but for our regular day-to-day operations. We want to think about that, that we don't want anything that we need to operate um, to cripple us in any way as a business. So that extends not just to restoration, our disinfectant, our cloths, respirators, cartridges. There's so much stuff right now, even our containment supplies. But we also want to look at, for those of us who do repairs, we definitely want to be looking at our construction supplies. So like today, everybody in construction on projects was told, let's take a time out. Let's lay out the next 30 days and get all the materials, whether it's drywall, trim, today, because there's just so much uncertainty on what challenges that we're going to face tomorrow.
Perfect. Okay. So going back to the disinfection service side of things, obviously people shouldn't be going into this if they're not trained and don't know what they're doing. Don't
Yeah,
try to,
right.
say you're getting rid of everything if you don't quite know. But if you are trained to offer disinfection services, you do decide to do that. What are some things that companies need to be sure that they have in place, things to think about, like maybe insurance, things like that?
Yeah, so you want to make sure you're properly protected, but I think, and everybody knows some of the rules about, you have to have insurance. You have to have insurance for anything you do. You're at risk. Um, you're potentially at risk for anything we do. And that's a reality. So I think really a key is being educated and trusting yourself and being confident, because then you can properly manage expectations and communicate with your customers. So you don't get, we don't want to be committing to things that aren't possible. We don't want to use wrong terminology. So, like I actually, again, when I talk about educating, re-educating, like now is a great time to review the concept of clean versus sanitize versus disinfect versus sterilize, because we don't want to be mixing up our words right now. We want to be professionals speaking like that and managing expectations. I think that's the best way to protect yourself when you're offering these services.
Yeah. Yeah. Okay. So before we wrap up here, so what do you think restorers should look at as far as training? What kind of training is out there so that, hey, if this happens again, which it probably will, hopefully more people will be prepared to respond next time?
Yeah, so there's so much great information, and I mentioned to you, I really want to acknowledge our industry at large, from the educators to the organizations that have a lead role to the suppliers, the manufacturers. They've been doing, and it's not easy, I know, as being on the education side, to whip things together in webinars. So lots of logistics go into place, and I think they've made so much great stuff accessible to all of us as an industry, and I think they deserve a shout out, because that's been instrumental. I mean, everybody's been great. So thank you to everybody out there, and as an industry at large, for sharing and staying on top of this. There's a webinar today from Normie, if those of you who are at 4 o'clock. So I'm gonna plan to hop on there. So really be connected and just take it all in, because there's, things, it's changing so rapidly. There's so much to stay on top of. Something may click that you're struggling with kind of understanding and putting into your day-to-day operations that somebody else articulates better. So just take it all in. At the Restoration Technical Institute, I just got word we are officially planning a one-day hands-on class. And so that's going to happen. It's we're looking at the first week of April. And the reason we're doing it, we actually canceled one of our normal water. It's actually going to be, was an AST class we just canceled. We really felt a commitment that this is a time where people need that confidence and get the right resources. I've been fortunate to have be exposed to some great minds that have helped me develop and kind of ground myself. And I really think that now's the time we can all use that. And all the webinars are awesome. I don't want to, but I know restorers too. They have to hands-on. We have to build the containment. We have to walk through, our exit chambers and feel it and be ready and be confident. And so that's what we're putting together in like a super speed fashion. So we're working on that, and that's in Reading, Pennsylvania, and it'll be in April.
Perfect.
Yeah.
All right. Well, thank you, Lisa. People who are watching this, stay with R&R's website and our Facebook page. I will try to update you when Lisa has dates and information for that training class, if that's something you're interested in. If you go to the top of rnrmagonline.com, our homepage, there is a coronavirus resources option where there's more videos, more resources, press releases, anything up there, hopefully that we can help. Like Lisa said, there are so many webinars happening right now. Lots of good information. So our R&R is trying to pull as much together as we can. So Lisa, thank you so much for sharing your expertise. Best of luck. Stay healthy.
Thank you. Thank you, and best luck to everybody else out there.
Thank you.
Have a good day.